The gray skies are looming as Friday's round kicks off. It's the third iteration of going around this Winthrop Gold course at the 2016 USDGC. I'm your host, Jamie Thomas, and for the first time in a long time, Avery, we're on the track together, man.
Yeah, great to be here. It's always fun to watch the disc golf action USDGC style. It is October. Let's bring it.
We've been all around the world for the first season of the Disc Golf World Tour, and the best in the world have conquered some of the best tracks we have to offer, and Rock Hill will prove to be no exception by the time it's all said and done. Let's get right into it. Here's our standings. After 2 rounds, Eagle McMahon impressed with his poise, and can't really say too much more. Jeremy Koling, Ricky Wysocki, and Nikko Locastro, some fan favorites, rolling right into hole 1. Avery, this hole is as iconic as it gets to start your round.
Yeah, it's the one hole on the course, I'll say, that you don't have OB. There is OB Lake to the right and an OB Road to the far left, but pretty much you have a standard shot over the rocks, through the trees, just trying to put on the dance floor and get yourself a 2 to start the round.
Let's kick it off with Eagle McMahon.
As you can see, there's much better conditions than expected today. There was a heavy rains early in the morning, and right now there's pretty much just a little bit of breeze, not too much wind. But yeah, it's really just kind of a slick kind of grass. You didn't see too much skip out of Eagle's shot there.
And there's Koling's first shot of the day, challenging those rocks slow. And that's pretty much what you want to do, just try to graze right over them. Nikko Locastro, the only one on the card that is in possession of a U.S. title. Getting a little early there.
As you see this pin position tucked up a little bit higher to the left, you can actually see it through the bushes, but you're trying to throw a straight shot that has a little skip from the right to the left, trying to get yourself at least a 10 to 15 footer. Ricky throwing an overstable putter, I believe, catches a tree to the right.
He looks like he's going to be right on the circle's edge there. Here's Eagle to kick things off. Oh no.
A 40-footer off the tray to a rollaway to a 60-footer to start the round. Giving it a valiant effort, but just not happening right now.
Jerm gets on the scoreboard early with a nice attack from just outside the circle on that uphill putt.
Nikko out of position, trying to go a little side body putt.
He's creative with the putter for sure.
And Ricky with a 2 as well. Jerm and Ricky both carding the 2s. So as you saw on the scorecard, Eagle had a 4-stroke lead to start the round. And with that putt by... Whoa, wasn't expecting that. With that putt by Jerm, he actually takes 3 from Eagle to only fall 1 back of the lead.
Well, we've been talking all week about the composure of the young player in Eagle McMahon, and this is going to be a testing point early in this round. And welcome back. We are on hole 2 of this Winthrop Gold layout, and this is a hole where the roller has always been a popular choice.
Yeah, the roller is a very advantageous shot here as you get way more distance, going down the fairway. The only concern is that you don't have it stand up too early and fade to the right.
Big Germ, by nature of his birdie, will be first to throw.
Like you said, a very popular shot. Gets it down on the ground, stands up, and just slow rolls forward. That was a perfectly executed roller. Didn't put a whole lot of heat on it, but got way down the fairway.
And Ricky to follow.
Ricky trying to take the backhand, didn't get it low enough. There's a bunch of branches where it's a slight uphill drive, but a low ceiling at the end.
And Nikko getting caught up by the tree a little bit. Still in good position to attack.
Here's a shot I'm waiting for. He's been hitting this shot great all weekend. And that's by far the farthest roller or drive I've ever seen on this hole. Eagle puts it down there within 45 feet of the basket.
Even with that hop early, he still had a lot of heat on that one.
So here's a typical shot you players will see. Trying to take it over the gravel OB area and then tails off a little early to the right.
Nikko playing a nice little slight turnover shot there. Big Germ got some distance out of his as well.
Yeah, this is one of those holes you don't want to take for granted. It's a longer par 4 at 630 feet. Eagle got way down there on his drive. Eagle for Eagle. Runs it a little over the high of the basket.
And he's looking to capitalize early. After making that mistake, he's lucky there that Ricky didn't take more strokes off of him.
Eagle just trying to play aggressive. After that 5 on the first hole, an Eagle would have really helped him out.
Nikko playing solid hole 2 after finding the bush off the tee on the first hole. Ricky and Germ have got it in gear early today.
Here's Germ with a tap in for a second birdie in a row.
And 2 down for Jeremy Koling, somebody who knows this course very, very well. And to everybody out there watching that knows this course, you've seen this hole. This is one of many iconic holes out here. Hole 3, this downhill par 3 just gets squeezed tighter and tighter every year.
Yeah, I was going to mention that was a pretty big change on this hole as they roped off both the right and the left side with yellow hazard rope this year. It requires so much more of an accurate, tighter shot, either take a forehand or maybe a backhand mid-range, just trying to keep it on a very narrow fairway.
And you can see Nikko landing there just outside the bullseye ring. That shot tracer courtesy of our friends over at Jomez Pro. So happy to have them on board this year.
Wow, that never changed off angle. That was a frozen rope all the way down to the green.
Just inside that hazard, or inside the safe side. Green flag. Eagle needs to make a move early. Wants to is probably the better word.
Ricky for birdie. And off the top and over the hazard rope. That's going to be a hazard penalty. But he does opt to re-putt, taking that same penalty back to the original lie, and cans it.
Ricky's pretty confident with the putter. It doesn't surprise me to see him opt for that rethrow. He's very good with the speed of his disc going into those chains. There's a nice confidence booster for Eagle.
Yeah, just getting his first birdie of the round, trying to get at least a stroke back.
Oh, wow. And
you see Nikko kind of just confused with his head tilted to the side. Doesn't understand what just happened right there.
I didn't understand what just happened. Germ's pretty focused looking early. He's a player who can show emotion, but not quite as much emotion as that.
Yeah, as you hear Germ saying stop that, right as Nikko aggressively slams his disc into the chains and possibly affecting the rest of the card.
Yeah, we do have two of the players on this card. They're known for sort of riding that emotion and using it to fuel them. And this is a hole that can disrupt the emotions early. This U-turn hole.
Even with the changes of the OB lines being absent, you see a lot of players still throwing the shot they've thrown in years past. Germ going with the sidearm down the tight corridor. Ooh.
Little kick to the right there. Just like you were talking about, that probably would have challenged that hazard rope in years past, but it's a clean, safe shot this year.
It's great to see Ricky actually taking advantage of that no hazard or OB rope to the left side and actually airs one out to try to get a better angle as he approaches that green.
One thing that's really impressed me about Ricky's game is his ability to come back. He has these moments in these rounds where he'll grip lock that forehand, but he still seems to be able to put down those numbers that you need to move, and it's been impressive to see this year.
He's got so many weapons. When you got a backhand, a forehand, and a putt you can make from just about anywhere, it's going to give you a really good chance to go low on these courses.
Nikko a little long of the cedars, and this is Eagle, his third shot.
I like this hole for the fact that it does challenge, different parts of your game. You have to throw a nice little accurate sidearm for all players just to get the best angle and skip into the green. There's some reserve parking for you.
And Jeremy Koling that's his wedge. His little forehand chip shot, he can back it up, roll it out. His control with that style of delivery is impressive. A little pitch shot here. A 4 is not bad on this hole.
No, a 4 is par, and I've seen a lot worse. Trust me, I've seen a lot worse on this hole. A 3 is really tough to get. You might get it 1, maybe 2 of your 4 rounds.
Sort of a devious design strategy. Of course, designers out here tempt you early with 1, with 3, and then they just throw 4 in there. And, in years past, you could kind of throw that big, huge ante, that sky ante, but no longer, and it has made this hole so much harder. And then hole 5. I mean, how many times can we do videos on this hole and talk about how iconic, how beautiful it is? The 1,000-footer out at Winthrop.
I've said it before and I'll say it again. It's one of the most beautiful holes that we have in disc golf. And with the recent change over the last couple of years, putting this deck in for the tee shot, it actually gives you not only 1, but 2 shots over the water as you approach the basket. And plus, with that change, it allows you to go a little farther with that tee shot as Eagle puts it up there on the edge of the lake.
I like to see all the different lines these guys are taking on this hole. It really has opened up different avenues and different strategies.
Yeah, you can take a forehand, you can take a backhand, depending on the wind. Ricky, kind of surprised he wasn't going forehand to keep him away from the water, and goes backhand, skips into the lake.
You could see on the water there, that was a headwind towards that dock, just lifting the disc.
Just kind of hang in there. Don't do anything too stupid.
A good little hop back to the fairway for Nikko. And positioning on the second shot is so crucial.
Yeah, with the addition of the Mando in that bush on the corner of the lake, you really want to put this thing in a nice center cut, giving you a nice area to attack.
And the benefits of power showing right there. Eagle able to disc down to a mid-range.
So that Mando forcing this third shot over the pond, trying to cut that corner, and with the basket position in the B pin, it's tucked a little closer to that bush, which forces a really accurate shot. And I think a forehand is a really good choice.
And it's hard to throw the backhand into a left to right and keep it on Annie when you have to carry the water the whole way. Germ showing the forehand is the much safer play.
Nikko struggling on this hole a little bit.
And Eagle went off the basket here yesterday, trying to card the 3, playing it a little safer today.
Eagle likes going for eagles.
He is aptly named.
Eagle for birdie.
And putts are sailing on him a little bit, especially just outside the circle. I mean, you got to think that's nerves.
With the rough start he had, he's really playing aggressive, trying to get those strokes back. And on a course like this, it can really kind of bite you if you really go too hard.
That's a solid putt by Nikko. And going back to that thought, you have to consider that this is only the second time that McMahon has seen this course. All these other guys have faced success and faced the trials and tribulations that Winthrop Gold has to offer. So that'll play a factor coming down, on the back nine and into tomorrow's round, would be my guess. You can see Nikko and Ricky are even on the round today. Germ is off to a hot start. He's just making the right shot selections at the right times. And here's the beach. The famous righty hyzer that you just can't carry too far left.
Gets lucky as he gets a little double, triple skip through the OB island area that they placed out there. It's a kind of a sweet spot where a lot of bigger drivers land, and they section that part off. And Eagle scoots right through it as well.
Whew. He's juiced. You can tell the adrenaline's flowing after not having the start he wants.
Yeah, this hole's changed over the years, especially with the growth of those big trees off to the right. Ricky does go the hyzer around those trees, but catching a late tree coming in and out of bounds.
Okay, folks, rewind that one back. If you want to learn how to throw the nice tight flex shot, Nikko just did that one to perfection.
So with Ricky going OB, he goes to a drop zone faced with that exactly. A death putt at the water and drains it dead center.
I mean, that was 100% heart of the sweet spot. Great putt there by Ricky.
Germ for 2 and Germ's first miss of the round.
Even with that miss, he's jumped out to a nice, comfortable start. I mean, when those are the rounds you love, you're just feeling it. They don't call it moving day for nothing. Like we said, Jeremy Koling is 5 through his first 6, and the other guys on the card struggling to get under par. And tell me about hole 7.
Hole number 7, the gateway. You got a tunnel through the gate itself. It's a triple mando. A lot of players go either a backhand mid-range or a backhand putter. It is 284 feet, so you have to have some good speed control, because if you throw a little too hard, you can go out of bounds as you scoot up next to that fence in the distance. Trying to scoot it through. Some good speed does make the doorway.
Really the first mistake by Germ all around there.
Yeah, this is a very unique hole, a hole you don't see anywhere else on any course in the world but Winthrop Gold. Lead card struggled on this hole. It's a very touchy, accurate shot as Germ went past the Mando line and will go to a drop zone, setting up that forehand flick.
That's a nice hit by Eagle right there when he needed it. You know, almost to the end of the front 9, and he'd been so clean up until this point. That's a boost of confidence.
Ooh.
Can't roll away if it's not on the ground.
Absolutely. As Germ taps in for bogey, Eagle takes the birdie to tie for the lead at 15 under par.
Despite giving up those early strokes, you know, it bears repeating that it's not over until you've tapped in on the 18th hole after that 4th round. This course can take it from you on any number of these holes, especially this par 4 with a tucked pin at just about 700 feet. There is no OB to the right, but that may be worse, because if you're out to the right, you have a tough angle to attack.
You're right. It's going to be a little more aggressive with this tee shot without the OB to the right that's split between 8 and 16's fairway.
Pair of nice hyzers to the center of the fairway there. Ricky lines the forehand up.
That's a very popular shot in years past, especially with the OB line to the right. This year you're seeing a few more backhands, but good to see the forehand throwers really going for the pure line out to the left.
Oh, and that little backup there is gonna put that tree in his follow through.
No stopping that roller. It was on a destination. Great roller by Nikko.
We haven't talked too much about Germ's game this round, I feel like. I mean, he's complimenting a lot of the other players, and Germ's playing very solid as well. He's just composed.
I was going to say, he's playing so clean. We only saw the one missed putt on 6, and then the bogey on 7. But other than that, he started off really hot, and with a 4-stroke deficit going into the round, he's now tied for the lead.
Oh, and I expected that one to curl back towards the basket and just disappeared. Germ will settle for par there. Nikko makes good on that upshot. And we saw the gallery starting to accrue as the weekend approaches.
Yeah, the weather is very moderate right now. No rain. And unbelievable, that chains off to the right for Eagle.
Speaking of rain, they say when it rains it pours, and Eagle having some really good front nines earlier in the weekend. And the pressure's starting to ratchet up just a little bit here. Staying tied atop the leaderboard. Only one more hole to go on this front 9. We talked about it before the tournament started in one of our videos. Hole 9 looks way different.
The most drastic change here on the Winthrop Gold layout. What used to be a kind of a winding, snaking fairway has turned into a very tight corridor lined both sides with hazard. It's a very short par 4, but requires precision on the drive, depending on how aggressive you want to play it.
I think Eagle would respond that he wants to play it very aggressive.
And just the opposite of that, Ricky playing very conservative with a little short forehand chip to the middle of the fairway, but unfortunately gets up and rolls, but stays in bounds.
It sure looked like it was going for that rope.
Yeah, Eagle mentioned earlier in the week that just the layout and the position of these hazard lines are making him want to go a little more aggressive, where you don't get penalized for the longer shots. He still gets to play his tee shot and get all that distance, but only accruing a 1-stroke penalty.
Man, Ricky never intended to go for Eagle, clearly. A couple little pitch-up forehands. And net him an easy birdie look. Nikko should be able to convert that for par as well.
Taking no chances, going forehand to the bricks. Should be an easy birdie for Germ.
And like you're saying, the strategy Eagle took there is completely valid. He's, he'll lose a stroke, but he's not going to lose 2 strokes, which would be typically what you're looking at in a situation like this. So, risk reward. I should note that I meant he loses a couple strokes to 2 players instead of 2 strokes to each player. Early morning math. And that's going to do it for the first 9 holes of this third round. As we take a look at the metrics and see Nikko's putting. Germ with the bullseye hits early, and inside the circle putting, no surprise for these guys on this card. Ricky grabbing outside the circle, typical.
The penalties that have been passed around is see a lot of penalties across the board for all 4 players.
And that is 9 holes, some roller coastering early, some lead changes, leads being given away, strokes being taken back. The back 9 is sure to be just as exciting. I know talking to the Jomez guys after the round, they said this was one of the more fun rounds for them to film. And you can see why early. Avery, let's kick it back in just a few minutes, do the back nine. What do you say?
Looking forward to it. The excitement continues on the middle stretch into the finish of the awesome but challenging Winthrop Gold Disc Golf Course at the 2016 United States Disc Golf Championships.